All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into core values.
Okay.
Um, and we've got this super interesting article called How Ignoring Your Core Values Can Lead to Regret and Unfulfilled Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool because it talks about all this stuff, like, those guiding principles that shape our choices,
Yeah.
and like who we are.
It's so interesting, right?
It
It's like
is.
we've all got this like internal compass,
Oh,
these
right.
values that like influence everything we do, whether we realize it or not.
Exactly. And this article is like all about helping us like tap into that and really understand, what those values are and how we can use them.
And like when we get them, that's when things get really cool.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So the article kicks off by like defining core values, as these like deeply held beliefs
Mm.
that act as our compass
Yeah, it's like this personalized GPS.
for life,
Yeah,
guiding us, towards a life that feels really authentic
exactly.
and fulfilling.
Powerful analogy.
It is.
Really highlights how these values can help us navigate life's complexities.
Right. And make choices that are aligned with, who we truly are.
Yeah.
So the article gives some examples like, honesty and integrity, compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most people would agree those are pretty important.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are like the classic ones, right?
Right.
But the cool thing is everyone's set of values is unique.
Right.
It's like a fingerprint.
Totally.
Yeah.
So there's no one size fits all here.
No.
That's what makes it so exciting.
Oh.
It's all about like self-discovery,
Yeah.
figuring out what matters to you.
Exactly.
So the article has all these cool exercises to help with this.
Oh, yeah. Like,
So one of them is reflecting on those moments when you felt super proud,
okay.
and thinking about what values were like shining through.
I love that. Like, what made you feel that way?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it also has, think about those times when you felt like super frustrated or disappointed, and it's like what felt compromised in those situations.
Usually it's like a clash between our actions and our values.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. It's like that disconnect.
Yeah.
That's creating that like, sense of unease.
Totally.
And then there's this other exercise that I think is super cool where you actually like visualize your ideal life.
Oh, wow.
Like you daydream about your dream job, the kind of relationships you want to have, how you spend your time.
So cool.
And it's like,
I love that because it lets your values kind of like emerge organically.
yes.
Yes.
It's not just making a list, you're like experiencing it.
Yeah, you're stepping into a world where like your values are fully expressed.
I love that it's like taking your values for a test drive.
That's a great way to put it.
And then the article has these really practical journaling prompts
Oh, cool.
to help you go even deeper.
Okay.
So it asks you to think about things like, what values do you cherish in relationships?
Mm.
What principles guide your career choices? And it even asks you to think about your legacy, like how you want to be remembered.
That's powerful.
It is, right?
Makes you think big picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've explored some ways to like figure out our core values.
Right.
But what happens once we have a good grasp of them?
Yeah, like how do we actually start living by them?
Right.
Like putting them into action.
Exactly. That's where the rubber meets the road.
It is.
It's about taking those values off the page and integrating them into our everyday lives.
Yeah, making choices that reflect what truly matters.
Right.
Even when it's tough,
Even when it's tough. So the article gives some practical examples like, if one of your core values is compassion,
Okay.
you might start incorporating small acts of kindness into your day.
Exactly, like finding ways to express your values authentically
Yes.
in a way that feels genuine to you.
Right. So it's not just about grand gestures.
No.
It's about those little everyday choices that add up over time.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how this could make a real difference.
Me too. But how do we apply this to like bigger decisions?
Ooh, good question.
The article mentions a decision-making framework based on our values.
Yeah, think of it like this. Let's say you're faced with a tough decision.
Right.
Right before you jump in, you take a moment to consider each option and ask yourself which one aligns best with my core values.
So it's like having this filter
Yes.
to help us make those choices
Like exactly.
that feel right.
The ones that resonate with your true self.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like checking in with yourself and asking, does this decision move me closer to or further away from the person I want to be?
You got it.
I'm starting to see how this could bring so much clarity,
Yeah,
especially when we're faced with those like big crossroads in life.
absolutely.
And it's not just about our own internal compass,
Right?
The article also talks about communicating our values to others,
Oh, that's huge.
especially in our relationships, because
It's not.
transparency builds trust and understanding.
Yeah, I can see how that would be so important.
Right.
It's like when we're open about what matters to us, it invites others to do the same.
Yes.
And that creates the foundation for like deeper, more authentic connections.
But does living in alignment with our values really make a tangible difference?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are the benefits?
So the article shares a story about this woman who felt totally lost in her career.
Oh.
She was just going through the motions, feeling unfulfilled, unsure of her path.
Yeah, I've been there.
And it wasn't until she really took the time to identify her core value of creativity
Oh, wow.
that things started to shift.
Wait, so just by understanding her core value,
Ah.
she was able to find more fulfillment
Exactly.
in her work.
Exactly.
Tell me more.
So by aligning her work with her values with this newfound understanding of herself,
Mm-hmm.
she not only found a new career path that let her express her creativity, but also experienced a renewed sense of purpose and clarity.
Wow. That's a powerful example of how understanding our values can lead to real tangible change.
It's like they hold the key to unlocking our full potential.
It's like this ripple effect
Yes.
across all areas of our lives.
Absolutely.
It's like they provide the framework for a more intentional
Yeah.
and fulfilling life.
I love that.
But I have a question. Are these values set in stone? Can they change over time?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll explore right after a quick...
Hold on, before we jump ahead.
Okay.
I want to loop back to those benefits you mentioned.
Okay, sure.
I'm really curious to hear more about how core values can lead to things like increased resilience and well-being.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think our listener will be interested in that too.
Yeah, you're right. Let's dive into that.
Yep.
So the article explains that when you're living in alignment with your values, you tap into this source of inner strength.
Oh, interesting.
It's like your values become this anchor, grounding you amidst life's inevitable storms.
So it's like having this internal compass.
Yeah. That not only guides our choices, but also provides us with this sense of stability and strength,
When things get tough.
especially when things get tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like knowing who you are and what you stand for gives you the power to weather any storm.
Precisely when you're living in alignment with what you believe in, challenges become less daunting
Wow.
because you have this unwavering foundation to draw upon.
Okay, now that makes a lot of sense. I
Yeah.
can see how that sense of inner strength could translate to greater resilience in the face of adversity.
For sure.
It's like you're not just reacting to external circumstances.
Right.
You're responding from a place of deep inner knowing.
Exactly. And that inner strength also contributes to a greater sense of well-being.
Okay.
When your actions are aligned with your values,
Yeah?
you're less likely to experience that nagging feeling of dissonance
Right.
or inner conflict.
Like when you feel like you're not living in alignment. Exactly. You're living in a way that feels authentic and true to yourself.
Yes.
Which naturally leads to a greater sense of peace and contentment.
This is also fascinating. I'm already feeling inspired to explore my own core values and see how I can start living more in alignment with them.
Awesome.
But just like you said before, I'm curious about whether these values are fixed or if they can change over time.
That's a fantastic question, and it's one we'll delve into next.
So we've been talking about how our core values can be like this powerful internal compass, right? Guiding our decisions and shaping our lives. But are these values set in stone?
That's a great question, and it's something a lot of people wonder about, and the answer is yes, they absolutely can evolve.
Okay, so they're not fixed.
No, think of it like this. Your core values are a reflection of who you are right now, not necessarily who you were 10 years ago or who you'll be 10 years from now.
That makes sense. We're constantly growing and changing as individuals, so it stands to reason that our values might shift along the way too.
Exactly. It's not about abandoning your values altogether, but rather allowing them to adapt and grow alongside you.
So it's more like fine-tuning our internal compass to navigate the ever-changing terrain of our lives.
I love that analogy.
The article mentions that it's important to check in with ourselves regularly to make sure we're still aligned with our values.
Yeah, it's like having an ongoing conversation with ourselves.
Right.
Asking, do these values still feel true to who I am today?
And if the answer is no, that's okay.
Exactly. It's simply an invitation to explore what's changed and why.
Maybe we've had some life-changing experiences that have reshaped our perspective, or perhaps our priorities have shifted over time. Life has a way of throwing us curveballs, and sometimes those curveballs can lead to a beautiful process of rediscovering ourselves and what truly matters to us.
Absolutely. It's not about judging ourselves for changing or feeling like we've done something wrong.
Right.
It's about embracing those shifts as a natural part of growth and evolution.
This makes me think about how we pass on values to future generations like our kids or mentees if our values aren't static. How do we even begin to teach them to others?
That's a great point. It's less about lecturing about specific values and more about modeling them in our own lives. Kids are incredibly perceptive and they learn by observing the adults around them. So if they see us consistently living in alignment with our principles, making choices that reflect what we believe in, they're more likely to internalize those values themselves.
It's like that saying, actions speak louder than words. We can talk about honesty and integrity all day long,
Yeah.
but if our kids see us being dishonest or cutting corners, those words will ring hollow.
Precisely, it's about embodying the values we want to pass on, making them an integral part of who we are and how we show up in the world.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. We've explored so much, from defining core values to understanding how they can evolve over time as we wrap up this deep dive. What are some key takeaways our listeners should walk away with?
Well, first and foremost, core values are not just some abstract concept. They're a powerful tool for living a more intentional and fulfilling life.
All right.
They can provide a framework for decision making, strengthen our relationships, boost our resilience, and ultimately help us live in a way that feels authentic and true to ourselves.
And the best part is they're practical steps we can take to uncover those values, those guiding principles that are already within us. It's a journey of self-discovery that's well worth the effort.
It's like unearthing hidden treasure within
I
ourselves.
love that.
And remember, living in alignment with our values isn't about achieving some perfect state of being. It's an ongoing process, a commitment to showing up as our authentic selves, even when it's challenging.
Right. It's not about perfection, it's about progress.
Exactly. It's about making choices that reflect what truly matters to us day in and day out.
And it's about giving ourselves grace when we stumble, knowing that we're all works in progress. We're all on this journey of growth and evolution together.
Exactly. And before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with a final thought-provoking question. To ponder, if your core values were a headline, what would it say about you? What story do you want them to tell?
Wow, that is a powerful question. It's like we're not just defining our values, we're crafting our own personal narrative.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of the values that drive us and letting them shape the story of our lives.
I'm already feeling inspired to revisit those journaling prompts from the article and dive even deeper into this process of self-discovery. And, even though we've covered so much in this deep dive, I still feel like we've just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore when it comes to core values.
I completely agree. It's a topic that we could talk about for hours, but I think we've provided our listener with a great foundation to start building upon.
Absolutely. So to our amazing listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of core values. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel empowered to embark on your own journey of self-discovery.
Remember, living a values-driven life is a continuous process of growth and evolution. Embrace the journey and trust that you have the power to create a life that aligns with your deepest beliefs.
And don't forget to revisit that article and those thought-provoking journaling prompts. Who knows what amazing insights you might uncover. Until next time. Keep exploring, keep growing, and keep living a life that reflects your truest self.
We'll see you on our next deep dive.
It really makes you think about what kind of legacy you're creating.
Yeah.
Not just in the grand scheme of things,
Right.
but even in those everyday interactions.
It's about aligning our actions with our values, right?
Exactly.
Which isn't always easy.
No, it's not.
There are going to be times when we fall short,
Right.
when we make choices that don't really reflect our ideals.
And that's okay.
Yeah, the article even talks about how our values can evolve
Mhm.
as we learn and grow.
So it's not about beating ourselves up
No,
for past mistakes.
it's about using those experiences
Right.
as opportunities to refine our internal compass.
It's like those moments are like course corrections,
Exactly.
nudging us back on track.
Towards living a life that feels authentic.
I think what resonates most with me is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to this.
Yeah, that's so important to remember.
What matters most is finding what feels true and authentic for you.
And giving yourself permission to evolve.
Right.
Your values today may not be the same values you hold 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's actually a testament to your growth and the ever-evolving nature of who you are.
So to our listener, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or unsure where to start, Remember this. You already have everything you need within you.
Hmm.
Those core values, those guiding principles, they're already there waiting to be discovered.
And the journey of uncovering them can be so rewarding.
It can.
It's about taking that first step,
Yeah.
asking yourself those tough questions and being open to the answers that emerge.
We hope this deep dive has provided you with some valuable insights and tools to help you on your journey.
Yes, and don't forget to revisit that article we discussed and explore those journaling prompts.
Right.
You might be surprised by what you uncover.
And remember, we're all in this together.
We are.
We're all navigating this complex and beautiful journey of life.
Striving to live in alignment with our values and create a world that reflects our best selves.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep living a life that feels true to you.
See you on the next deep dive.